What is going on, guys? Today we have got Matthaus and Desailly. So we're going to be looking and seeing, are they worth it? So obviously we have got a mid loafer and obviously the prime Desailly. So Desailly's obviously got one more version. He can go to either 92, 93, and I believe last year he was a CDM as a moment, but I'm pretty sure there was a centre back at some point. So let's have a look at this guy then. So we've got 7 SBCs, obviously as the icon SBCs, if you're not familiar, always have a bronze and silver. Fantastic, get yourself the 4 gold rares instantly. That one should be an easy one. And then we've got an 87, 86, 85, 83, 84. To be fair, not bad at all. The question is, if you've done Varane, if you've done Maldini, do you need him? And the answer would be no, obviously. If you've done them two, then really there is no point for another centre-back until either moments or team of the season, or if you're a big fan of the centre-back. That is the only reasons to change them two centre-backs, personally. If we're looking at Desailly, without any other centre-backs in mind, let's have a look and let's see what I would roughly go through with him. So he's 6'1", medium-high, very nice start, 2-star skills, 3-star weak foot, right-footed, what we got traits-wise, solid player, power header, can't argue there. In terms of attributes then, so we're looking at pace, we're looking at defending, not too much on the passing that I can see. So let's have a look and see if we can get up foot bin. Can't find my mouse on my computer, which is over here. So we've got, it can go up to 93 pace, I can imagine, with that. So let's have a quick gander at what a shadow will do for him, because a shadow is where we're going to be going for, really. 93 pace, 92 acceleration, 93 sprint speed, would end up with 98 defended, and he would turn him into a 94 rated centre-back. So good points. Pacey, obviously, Desailly is very good at that. Defending will be on point. Physicality will be on point. Agility balance, not the greatest. We've seen centre-backs with worse, we've seen centre-backs with better. And I feel like he'll probably come into that zone of, he'll be okay. He won't necessarily be the greatest centre-back in the world, but he will definitely do the job at a high standard. We've got cracking reactions on him and really good composure. Passing-wise, and this is where I think it lets down a little bit compared to the likes of the Varanes, the Marquinhoses of the higher nature. Their passing is incredible. We've got very good passing across the back line there, and I think Desailly's kind of just hitting that little bit less of a curve. We've obviously got very good, almost basic stats with him. The pace, the defending, the physicals. Everything else normally doesn't matter with a centre-back, but now we're getting the all-rounds, because we're going to get the same for team of the season. We're going to get pacey, good defending, good physical, good dribbling, good passing, good even heading accuracy is going to be everywhere. So it is interesting to see, is Desailly worth it? In terms of his actual price, he's coming in at the moment at about 615, which we're 20 minutes after he's came out, 615 on the Xbox and 665 to 667 from PS to PlayStation. So, or PS to PC, in fact. So he's got room to potentially drop. He has been kind of leaked a few days ago, so I can imagine the big surge was then, and then we might get a little kind of trail end, little trickle, just because people will kind of second guess it. Maybe it isn't true. But I think he's a nice card, most definitely. If you didn't do Varane or Maldini, and maybe you're struggling with your centre-backs, then yes, he is a very good centre-back. Normally his attributes, his in-game style is normally pretty good as a centre-back, and I would probably offer him better as a centre-back than a CDM, because I know some of his versions, especially a couple of years ago, were CDM. And I think even if we look at his mid? Yeah, his mid's a CDM, his base is a centre-back, and obviously this version is a centre-back as well. And I believe we might get a centre-back on his moments again. I know they did have a centre-back and a CDM, I can't remember which year is which, but we know we can get both. In terms of this SBC, I think it's relatively nice. We get it for 30 days as normal, practically. You've got the two big ones is the 86, 87. If you kind of just miss a couple of SBCs, you can get this done with absolute ease. Even grinding the game, I reckon you can get this done pretty easily. So I think for me, it's a big dub in terms of that. Obviously, at the moment, you kind of watch what you're kind of putting into this, because we have had a prime icon pack. That means that everything's going to potentially go up for a little bit, and then we will see it go down a little bit more. So I think SBC wise it's absolutely fair compared to what they've done recently. Would I necessarily go out and do him straight away? Probably not. Maybe if you were kind of struggling for centre backs, I would look at grinding them out over the time. I personally would probably prefer going into Eto if you are specifically looking at icons to do rather than just necessarily a defender. But then we look at Matthaus. So he is a fantastic card and definitely one that I'm going to get done because personally for me, he beats Vieira at this point. He's coming in at about $1 million on the Xbox and 1.1 to 1.66 on obviously the PlayStation to the PC. We've got 9 SBCs to do for him though, so he is the bigger SBC. Obviously 7 if you take out these two. Then we start with an 82, which to be fair we can get that done, so we could probably class that as an easy one for the third option. Then we jump straight into it. Then we've got 6 left and we've already started an 85. We've got an 85, 85, 86, 86, an 87 and an 88, requiring 1, 2, 3, 4 team of the weeks or foot champs, which obviously is very annoying that it only works for icon SBCs, but that is absolutely fine as we will grind a couple of foot champs to be able to get them rewards as well. But solid, absolutely solid. The card is absolutely jacked. He is just an incredible card. We managed to get him last year at an icon SBC and by God he was incredible. We then managed to get his prime as well, and I know that version is even better as well. But I think for me he just offers everything as a DM kind of character. Obviously whacking a shadow on him is, or engine, I think it's an engine or a shadow that you'd go for him. According to Footbin, you'd look at an engine for what people want, which would give you 92 pace, 92 passing, 82 dribbling, turning him into a 90 DM, which I think is absolutely fine. If you went with the shadow, you do miss out on a bit of agility balance. You do get a 91 DM, but I think for me, yeah, the engine probably is the better shout to go. 5'9" with a high. He is right-footed with a 3-star, 4-star. He has got solid player as his trait, so quite an interesting one to see. We've got cracking acceleration on him. Obviously, that will go up to 95 and would get 89 sprint speed. And then, obviously, with his shooting, a couple of long range, a bit of shot power, so you never know. Hit and hope on the edge of the box is always an option. Passing is incredible. Dribbling-wise, this is where the engine kicks in because we'll end up with 79 agility, 87 balance, but that composure, beautiful. 89, can't argue. Short and long pass, obviously 87, 90. Ball control 86. And then obviously the defending and physicals will stay the same with the engine, which I think for me, you've got great stand and slide tackle. Defensive awareness is great. I don't necessarily need too much on that head and accuracy. Interceptions is up there. Great stamina. And again, good aggression. So for me, I think this card is a massive dub. And I would recommend doing him out of anybody. If we look at what icons we've got left, Drogba for me is a no. Eto is a definitely contention one. I think he is a very good striker, so it depends on who you've got. Desailly in terms of icons for me, no. Matthaus is 100% yes. Zidane, I think if you definitely have a lot of him done, I think he'd be worth finishing off, but I wouldn't necessarily have gone for him from the very start. But again, if you've done him, absolutely fine. He's a cracking one. Hadji, for just the fact that he's 3 out of 6, I'd kind of say maybe, but I wouldn't necessarily bust my load trying to get him done really. So for me, I think Matthaus is going to be the one that I'm looking at. He is kind of the next step in terms of my team, unless we get somebody better at this point. If you haven't checked the Prime Icon pack out, that video was before this, so it'll be at the end of this one, I believe. So let me know down below what you think. But I think for me, solid SBCs. I think they're pretty standard, as we've seen. Desailly coming in cheaper than obviously Matthaus, but I think for me, Matthaus is coming in at a lovely price and definitely will be trying to grind that out over the course of the next few weeks. And you've got 30 days to do him. I'm absolutely fine to try and grind that out. So if you did enjoy the video, let me know down below, and we are still waiting for Prime Moments to be added into the code and into FIFA, because then we are going to go absolutely full send on them reviews. Let me know what you think. Make sure you like and subscribe. Peace.